What's that?
Thought you were back in your meeting, didn't you?
Yeah. Is everything on?
Yep.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to the Todd County Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. And obviously, due to COVID, the public is not allowed to attend in person, but the meeting is live streamed on the information provided to you. Attending today remotely is the news media, Kathy Langer, Community Corrections Director, and attending in person will be Sheriff Steve Ock, Lauren Felbaum, Public Works, Chris Odden, Assessor, Jackie Ock and Catherine McIndents, Health and Human Services, Rick Utek, Economic Development, Denise Gaida, Auditor Treasurer, Chris Pelzy, County Coordinator, and Kim Pullman from Court Administration. I'm sorry, not all commissioners. Commissioner Erickson is absent this morning. Otherwise, all other commissioners are present. So please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I guess the first official act of business is to have the oath of office by the newly elected officials. And I will make one comment. I guess Rod Erickson took his oath yesterday. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so if you guys want to take your oath, and Kim, you want to come up and probably stand in front of the mic if you could, Kim, over here. There we go.
Barbara Becker. I, Barbara Becker, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of County Commissioner, 1st District of County of Todd, to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge, ability, and understanding.
I do.
Randy Newman. I, Randy Newman, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of County Commissioner, 5th District of the County of Todd, to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge, ability, and understanding.
I do.
Thank you, Kim. You want them to sign now, or?
We
She just
sign.
needs to sign and seal.
Oh, you signed already? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The top row, third icon over.
Julie just texted me.
Scroll down. This will just take a second. Just scroll down. Right there. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
And hit your bookmarks on the side.
Gotcha.
Actually, the second one. Go back to that top one that you're at and hit the second one down.
Oh,
That one.
there you go. We just had the wrong agenda on. Sorry, folks.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
All right, is there any corrections or additions to the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Kneisel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Newman. Discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, establish board chair. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move the appointment of Commissioner Becker as Todd County Board Chair.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Kneisel. Motion to establish Commissioner Becker as chair of the county board. There's been a motion and a second. Is there any other nominations? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. It's officially yours, Barb.
Thank you. The next item of business would be the establishment of the vice chair. Is there a nomination for vice chair?
I'll nominate Rod Erickson, Commissioner Rod Erickson.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Are there any other nominations? If no other nominations, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the next item of business would be the consent items. Denise?
Today's consent items are meeting minute approval for December 29th, 2020, a hire part-time correctional officer, approval to hire public works mechanic, hire deputy assessor, appoint eligibility worker, and to approve 2021 tobacco license.
Are there any questions on any of the above? If not, I will ask for a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, the next would be Denise also with the official newspaper.
So, official newspaper, we did reach out to the newspapers and did the process of bid letting for publication for the publication of the official proceedings of the Todd County Board meetings. And on hand, we have a quote or a bid from Staples World for the 2021 agreement. And it looks to be as the bid at $10.50 per inch. And our history of publication cost, that is a no change.
With hearing that, is there a motion for approval?
Madam Chair, if I may, did that go up?
No, it's no change from
Oh,
2020.
I didn't hear what you said there. Okay, thank you.
No change from 2020.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Kircher. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Newman. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next.
Next item then is the 2021 extra publication newspaper designation. Again, bid letting was done by statute requirements, and we did receive one in from the Long Prairie Leader, which I'll open now. And the Long Prairie submits a bid of $7.80 per column inch. And this is a no change, and this rate proposed remains the same as in 17, 2018, and 2019. So he has had no changes in his cost for the past 4 years, 5 years. And that would be the Long Prairie Leader.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Kneisel, second
Second?
by Commissioner Newman. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next will be the Todd County Board of Commissioners protocol.
Background is the Todd County Board of Commissioners wish to create a transparent process for the order of the Todd County Board meetings and notices. The Todd County Board of Commissioners met in a work session on December 15th of 2020 to consider proposals and updates to the Todd County Board protocol document for the 2021 year. Our recommendation is to adopt the attached resolution to establish the 2021 Todd County Board of Commissioners Board protocol.
Okay, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kneisel. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the next would be setting the board meeting dates.
Okay, it is customary for the Todd County Board of Commissioners to set the county board meeting schedule at the first board meeting of each year and adjust accordingly for known scheduling conflicts. The recommendation is to approve to continue to hold the Todd County Board of Commissioner meetings on the first and third Tuesday of every month at 9 a.m. in the Todd County Historic Courthouse, and work sessions designated by board chairperson or 3 members of the county board as deemed necessary. The county board also approves that the year-end board meeting to be scheduled for December 28th, 2021. And just a further note that there wasn't any other changes due to elections like we had in 2020, so. Everything will remain the same.
Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Kircher, excuse me, second.
Second.
Second by Knizel. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the next item would be the committee appointments.
It is customary that the Board of Commissioners establish and reaffirm the committees to which they are a member of each calendar year. The recommendation is to approve the attached resolution adopting the Commissioners' Committee assignments for 2021. In reviewing this documentation, the only thing we need to add is well, it's not a correction, it's just an add. If you go to page 2, under the Environmental Resources Committees, we have a one watershed, one plan committee, but Commissioner Becker just informed me this morning that we should add, there is a Long Prairie Plan Committee, and so that is Commissioners Becker and Erickson. So I will just add a line item in there indicating there's a Long Prairie. Is it Long Prairie River Plan? Or
Yes.
Is it just Long Prairie?
Long Prairie River.
Well, and we're not involved, we're not, Todd County's not,
Well, part of it.
we're part of it, but we're not
Okay.
working on it.
Are there any other discussion,
Madam Chair,
changes? Yes.
if I may just add, we still do have the Emergency COVID Executive Committee. That would be just an emergency committee that is not on this list, I don't believe, and that has been the chair and the board chair,
And the
or
board
the
chair.
vice chair.
And we should maybe add that one also.
I will add that too.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, on the Livestock Advisory Committee, you got Knizel and Kircher. I thought what was we doing, chair and vice chair on that? No?
No.
Yes, I believe we did, and we also changed that to soil and water.
Okay,
Also went with the chair and vice chair.
Yeah.
great, we'll make those corrections as well.
Okay, you got it, yeah.
Soil and water, which,
I was thinking that was,
You have a recycling committee, Gary. Do they meet often or not?
once a month, we've been meeting
Where do you meet at?
up here.
Okay.
The other one that's on
Andy and I
here
are on that.
is the
It's got you, I
airport,
thought.
Staples Airport. Gary, have you ever been to a meeting?
Never been to a meeting, but,
Neither have I.
well, you never know if they're gonna call. one.
Okay.
Well, Gary, on the recycling committee, it's just got you. On solid waste, it's got you and Newman.
Mhm.
So should we be
Well, that-
adding Randy to the recycling?
yeah, 'cause it's
Okay.
all part of this.
You
all
all do
the
the same
same.
thing, so just
Yeah,
probably redo, cross that out and just leave it as solid waste joint powers. Right?
Yep.
Just cross that committee off.
Madam Chair, if I may just provide a little bit of a clarification on that. I think the Solid Waste Joint Powers Board is really to do with, I don't know if it's the perm facility and
Oh.
the joint. And then we do have a Solid Waste Internal Committee that is Commissioner Newman and Commissioner Kneisel, which I think might be the recycling.
okay.
Well, there's only Commissioner Kneisel on there right now.
Mm-hmm.
well, that's the perm meeting,
Prairie Lakes.
Pear Lakes.
Okay. We do have an internal solid waste committee as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm aware of that. All right.
Any more discussion?
I'll move it.
Okay, motion by Newman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kneisel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the next would be designation of investments, Denise?
Designation of depositories, investments, and electronic fund transfers. Per Minnesota State Statute and auditing standards, the designation of depositories, investments, and electronic funds transfers shall be approved by the governing body annually. Our recommendation is to approve the attached resolution for the designation of depositories, investments, and electronic fund transfers. There's no change from last year. It's the same entities that we had.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Kircher, second.
Second.
Second by Kneisel. Discussion?
Yeah, Madam Chair, if we do this, if we discover there's other places we can invest that have more money, can we do that or not?
Yes, yeah, we just
Okay.
have to bring it before the board,
Okay,
yes.
all right. Doesn't lock us
It
in
doesn't
here,
lock us
so-
in, no.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next, Denise, would be auditor warrants.
Auditor warrants for December 2020. Background will be sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the December 2020 auditor warrants with an ACH and a regular manual payment totaling in the amount of $1,801,128.13. That was a lot of ones, excuse me.
Okay. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Kneisel, second.
Second?
Second by Newman. Roll call?
Commissioner Commissioner Kneisel,
Aye.
Commissioner Newman,
Aye.
Commissioner Kircher,
Yes.
Commissioner Becker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item would be the Todd County Community Corrections reappointment membership. And
I think she'd be
right
on
now, Commissioner Kircher and myself serve on that board. And I presume you would like to
I'll move that
resume?
we stay the same.
Okay, there's a motion by Kircher. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Newman. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And Kircher and Becker will remain on that board.
Okay,
Okay,
good, good.
Public Works?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is Kathy Langer from Community Corrections. I'm not sure if I'll have the opportunity yet this morning, but would the board consider approving the resolution appointing full membership to the Community Corrections Executive Committee as well as the Community Corrections Advisory Board?
I will make a correction to my motion and add that.
Yes, we
That's
have
okay
it
with
listed
Commissioner
as,
Newman?
Yep.
Yes, yep.
we have it listed as the same,
So,
yes.
we're all in agreement, so that's okay then. So we have to re-vote, you think?
Let's just, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Carried.
Okay,
All right.
There you go.
Thank you,
Thank
Kathy.
you.
yes.
Morning, Lauren.
Good morning, everyone. Our first item on the agenda this morning for Public Works is a request for a fiscal year 2021 plow truck purchase. The background is that in fiscal year 2021, we have a line item in the budget for the replacement of a plow truck. Typically, we replace a plow truck every year. We have about 15 in the fleet, so that gives us a rotation of about 15 years for the truck. At that point in time, they have roughly 200 to 250,000 miles on it. Specifically this year, we actually looked at, instead of purchasing our normal Mack trucks, we looked at some different options and found the Western Star truck to be a equivalent, but actually potentially a better truck built-wise, and it actually came in about $1,300 cheaper. So with that, our options are to approve the attached state bid for a plow truck purchase with the two attached purchase agreements, one from Boyer Truck for the plow truck and chassis, and one from Towmaster Trucking Equipment for the snowplow equipment. And our second option is do not approve any equipment purchases at this time, but our recommendation at this time is to approve the purchase of a new equipped plow truck per the attached purchase agreements for a total of $242,701.99.
Are there any questions, discussion?
I do, Madam Chair. Lauren, that Towmaster, where are they from?
Litchfield.
Okay.
Yep.
So the one in Little Falls, what's that one called over
That
there?
is Falls Plow. So Towmaster is the outfitter. So they construct the box, hang all the plow equipment. So they go out and purchase the wing and front plow and sander from Falls
Okay,
and then put it all together. So
Okay.
Falls would be more like a supplier.
okay, thanks.
I guess I just got a question. Is there some need that this was brought before this meeting? Because I found it kind of unusual, because usually this is just a reorganizational meeting. So was there some urgency that this be brought forward?
There was no urgency, except that typically it takes a number of months for this to come forward.
Okay.
And since I was coming up for the LRIP item, I thought I'd just attach this as well.
Okay. With that, is there a motion for approval? And I suppose you should, for the, and for what truck, I guess?
So moved.
Motion by.
To approve
To approve,
the purchase.
from Kircher. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kanizel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, go ahead, Lauren.
All right, thank you. Our second item on the agenda this morning is a request to approve a project application recommendation. And this is for our county stated highway number 34. 34 is a county stated highway shared with Wadena County. It's actually Wadena County's, I believe, number 3. And it's basically known up in the northern part of the county as Warner Road. So it goes from the new airport road in Staples, where the Staples overpass, all the way out to the county line, which is the Tri-County Bridge on the Crow Wing River, which is a Tri-County Bridge with us, Cass County, and Wadena County. This specific funding source is very similar to the funding source that we got the County Road 83 project 2 years ago and built last year in front of the Staples Hospital. So it's basically state bonding money that's specifically designated for counties and cities to apply for to help fund special projects. We looked at our whole system and determined that this is probably would give us a good opportunity since it is a competition application process. I reached out to Wadena County and they agreed that this would give us the best chance. And when this is reviewed by the state, having 2 counties work together kind of bumps us up in the list because they can award one project but essentially fund 2 separate counties. So with that, I worked with Ryan up there to put together kind of this coordination, and this exact item should be going up in front of their board either today or early this month. So with that, I guess our 2 options are to approve the attached resolution or do not approve the attached resolution. And our recommendation is approve the attached resolution recommending County State Aid Highway number 34 as our project to be submitted for consideration for LRIP funding.
Discussion. Yes, move forward. I'll ask for a motion for approval.
So moved.
Motion by Kanizel, second.
Second.
Second, Kircher. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Sounds good.
All right, thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Lauren. Someone, oh, here they are.
Good morning.
Going to make you rush?
Pardon me?
Okay, going to make you rush this
Yeah.
morning, huh?
Sitting out there waiting and then not ready when it comes our turn. Morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. We have a few board action forms here to present for you. The first one being the Northern Pines Purchase of Service Contract Renewal. Some background, Northern Pines provides a variety of mental health services to eligible adults and children in Todd County. The services provided are detailed in the attached contract. Options are to approve the Northern Pines Purchase of Service Contract Renewal or to not approve. It's our recommendation to approve the Purchase of Service Contract Renewal. And again, I know the question has been, has it increased from last year from 2020 to 2021? We pay Northern Pines based on the services rendered. So no increase, it's paid based on utilization.
Okay. Any discussion beforehand? If not, I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Erickson, or not, by Newman, excuse me. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Kanizel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Again, we come in to review our COVID-19 update. As of January 5th, 2021, Todd County has 2,258 lab-confirmed COVID-19 cases. 27 of those cases had resulted in deaths. Cases no longer needing isolation is 2,216, which is a out of isolation rate of 98%. Males and females are fairly stable, 46% for males, 46.5%, and 52.7% for females. Our age range, again, that we like to review is from 2 months to 103 years old, with an average case age range of 44.6. Total COVID tests performed in Todd County as of the last day in December is 18,352 with 11.2 cumulative positivity rate. 516 tests performed in the week of December 23rd through the 30th. Our case rate that we work with the schools on is currently 28.3. Those have come down nicely. I think our highest in October, November was
190.
Yeah, it was over 150, so 190. So dramatic decrease. So I'm hoping that we see some positive news with our governor's office this week in opening Minnesota or dialing back for Minnesota. I have Catherine here today just to talk about the Expo Building and our vaccine clinics. So I'll let her just kind of give you an update on where we are with vaccinating our community and healthcare workers in the phased approach.
Good morning. So we received our first allocation of the COVID-19 vaccine, the Moderna vaccine specifically. It was supposed to come December 23rd, 24th. As you know, we had a snowstorm. So it came the following week. We received some from Morrison and Wadena, and then we also received our own allocation on Wednesday of last week. So we had our first vaccine clinic out at the Expo Building last Wednesday. Again, we're focusing on the 1A priority population. As we know, right now the vaccine isn't in the amount that is able to vaccinate anyone who wants it. We need to focus on our priority populations. Our healthcare systems are focused on, of course, their staff, their long-term care facilities. We're focusing on assisted living, group homes, first responders, behavioral mental health settings. Our goal is to get all of them done by the end of January with their first dose. 28 days later, of course, they'll have to get their second dose. So that's our 1A population, and I think we'll meet that goal. The state hasn't decided yet when we'll be moving to that 1B priority population, and really decided who's in that group. Most likely, it's going to be school staff, childcare staff, some of our essential workers in food and agriculture, and then probably the population 75 plus. So that's what we've heard initially. That's what CDC has pushed out. We expect MDH will follow, but we'll learn more probably today about that. So overall, the rollout has been going really well. The vaccine, again, the Moderna vaccine is a little bit easier to handle as it's not stored at ultra cold. We have some in the freezer, some in the fridge. The stuff in the freezer, normal temp, can be there for 6 months. The stuff in the fridge can be there for a month. The only issue we have is once we pull it out of the fridge to use, as soon as you puncture that vial, there's 10 doses of the vaccine in there. You have to use that within 6 hours. So we have to always hit on a 10, 20, 30, 40 vaccinating, which in a smaller county can take a little bit of logistics. So what's nice right now is we have a lot of small group homes we can call in to come in. We've got some people that are able to come in when needed, but it is a little bit of a logistical timing that you have to just sort of schedule and make sure you hit those numbers, because we don't want to waste any vaccine, of course. And once you have that 6-hour time limit, you've got to kind of be a little more nimble about that. So that's been our only kind of, issue going forward. Otherwise, our nurses have been great. We feel like there's been a lot of interest. Anyone who has questions about when they'll be able to get the vaccine is welcome to call our office. I know there's a lot of questions. I encourage people to talk to their healthcare provider too, as they have an underlying health condition. We're not quite sure how that's going to roll out with the hospitals and then our agency as well providing the vaccine. At this point, they're still focused on long-term care. So we'll kind of have to see where that goes. Questions?
Do we still have vaccines here in Todd County that are in storage?
Other vaccines?
Yes.
Yeah.
We do. And we can't administer them until we get the order from the governor? Or,
No.
you know, as to who would get them, or why are we holding them, I guess
Oh,
was my question.
you mean the Moderna COVID
Yes.
vaccine? Yeah, there is a plan that's been put out by the CDC and MDH as to how we can vaccinate our community, who comes first. So we're
Okay.
working through that phased approach with
Okay.
who gets to come first.
And which is interesting, because it's been on the news a lot, you know, okay, so we have it, it's being held and not being put out or not being used
Right,
to
right.
vaccinate.
Right. I mean, our goal is to use all the vaccine we have, of
Absolutely.
course. There is some reluctancy to take the vaccine, which I'm sure you've heard about. So, unfortunately, not everyone who's able to get it wants to get it, which can sort of fluctuate your numbers because while you might expect a certain number of people to come, you know, not all of them are interested in the vaccine. So that'll take some time. But yeah, I don't anticipate us not using what the state has also told us last week. Get it out. I mean, basically, we don't have to follow. There were sort of 3 different priority groups within 1A. They said, get it out as soon as you can and pull in people, especially if you are looking at wasting those doses. We'll pull anyone in to get the vaccine
Right,
at
so
that
we're
point.
at 6 and we know we've got 4 more doses in that multi-dose vial. We're gonna start calling people, do you want it? I mean, we're looking for 4 people with a pulse that want the vaccine to come in and get it at that point, so.
There's only 4 of us here.
Yeah, right? So, we'll be calling people, you know, to get those administered.
And we're trying to follow the state guidelines. I mean, right now they want that 1A population done and prioritized, which makes sense. But you're absolutely right. We're not going to wait. We're going to get that vaccine out as soon as we can.
Madam Chair, if I may, there's some talk or rumor about giving half doses to make it go farther. Have you?
I've heard that, I think, on public news, and we haven't heard anything from MDH or CDC regarding that. I think there's some speculation on can it go further,
Yeah.
but we haven't gotten any guidance on that
Okay.
at this point.
I mean, I anticipate the next few months we'll be able to vaccinate big chunk of people that want it, right, that are high risk. I'm excited to get to that 65 plus population, anyone who has a chronic condition. I think that'll be really important. It's going to take time, one, to just, the hospitals have a difficult time with that Pfizer vaccine, right, in making sure that they're utilizing it. And so I think making sure that those populations that want it, which is why I encourage people to tell their provider that they want the vaccine, because it's just going to take some logistics to schedule those appointments and make sure that you're using the vaccine and not wasting any. So I don't think we'll have an issue with vaccine availability, especially not in Todd County, just because we from the state, it feels like they've got a pretty good system in place. I think it'll just be a matter of rolling it out and then who gets it kind of first, you know what I mean?
Is there any difference between the 2 vaccines and time to wait for the second one? And let's say I get it and I don't get in there till 29 or 30 days after I get my first one. Is that
That's fine. Pfizer is 21 days. They give you, and Moderna's 28 days, right? They give you 4 days prior. You could get the vaccine and any time afterwards. Of course, they want you to get it as soon as possible after that 21 or 28, but there's no catch up. If you're 2 or 3 months late, that's fine. Again, the efficacy is what's important. So you get your first dose, you have about 50%, antibodies to the virus. When you get that second dose, that's when you're getting to that 98, 99%. So it's in your best interest, of course, to get it as soon as you can.
okay? Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Question, how did the Expo Building work out for you
That's what my
guys?
question was gonna be.
Incredible. I mean, there's a few minor details that, were just logistically coming in, people coming in and using the no wait inside, that just getting staff familiar with that, but it really worked well.
And we've got it, you could come look at it anytime. It's set up really well. We've got 3 lanes set up, tons of space, which is great for social distancing and just for our staff. Basically workstations set up so they can work there all day. You know, at some point it's going to get pretty busy when we start doing second and first doses. It's going to be a lot of work. And so we've set it up to where our staff have the internet capability to do everything they need. Everyone seemed to get there just fine, so that's been good. I mean, my concern was a little bit about making sure people know where it is. I think everyone in Long Prairie does, but so maybe some additional signage I was thinking might be helpful at some point. Right now, we're not doing a ton of signage because it's not a public clinic. Do you know what I mean? So it feels a little difficult to put a big sign and say COVID-19 vaccine clinic when it's only for certain populations at this time. But at some point, it'd be nice to get some more signage.
And it was warm.
Yeah, it was warm.
I mean, I've been in that building.
Freezing.
No, terribly. There wasn't a wind. It's beautiful,
Yeah.
and it was warm.
Could we get flashing sign to say age, today we're doing 78 or 60 to 50, something like that?
At some point, we're going to need to, we've been making phone calls, right, to all these places and letting them know they're eligible. When we get to that larger population, we're going to need a much better system to just let everyone know. And so again, we don't know when we'll get there, but it would be nice to figure out a way to better kind of blast that out to the
I
public.
think an electronic sign that says today we're doing this age bracket or this, so that they know that.
People just
so-
walk in. I mean, we,
Out by Senex off of,
Well, off of 71,
Yep,
27,
exactly.
whatever, so.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Kircher, we do have, I'm just going to keep reminding that we do still have the funds from our additional CARES Act allotment that we will be hopefully setting aside for these specific purposes, so an electronic sign wouldn't be out of the realm.
the other thing is snow removal and maybe a parking lot paving out there would be really nice as far as accessibility. I mean, it's dirt basically all around there, which is, fine now, but it'll get very muddy very quickly. And especially if we ever do move to a drive-through again, it'll get very dirty. So that's just something to think about. Maybe for facilities would be nice because
not a
it's
tarring is, it's a good thought. I mean,
yeah, I mean, the snow removal even has been a bit of a issue, and then there's ice built up on the roof and things like that. So we just want to, and the guys have been doing a good job of cleaning it up. It's just, it isn't right. The easiest, and there's no striping, so nobody knows where to park. So
Does Public Works plow the fairgrounds, I would presume?
They have, historically, they've always, and it's
Okay.
plowed when we go out there, so I'm guessing, yes, that's,
Never the city.
yeah, and we've talked to maintenance. They've been great about putting salt out and things like that when needed. So.
Madam Chair, I had an appointment up at the hospital last Thursday, and some concerns were brought to me about the letter that was sent out saying realistically, our mass vaccination probably won't start till like March, correct? Where we will have a really great supply of vaccination, right?
we're kind of thinking that, and again, that's gonna be directed through the MDH and what they'll allow us.
Okay.
That plan is kind of hand-delivered to us, saying, here's who you get to vaccinate next.
Because that was their concerns up there going, God, without being able to vaccinate everybody, it's kind of,
When are we gonna get there? Right.
right,
For, yeah. So
so,
that, again, will be delivered from the CDC or MDH to us as to when we can start opening those up to the community.
okay. Great, thank you.
And we'll keep you all updated on those plans as they come out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I do have one. I want to go back to where you gave us the statistics. The first sentence says COVID-related deaths. Does that mean they died of COVID or that they had other underlying?
They could have had other underlying, but COVID was one of the, they've had it,
Okay,
had COVID virus in their system when they had passed
Okay.
or expired, so.
all right.
Madam Chair, I heard on the radio this morning, they said that LA County, which is Los Angeles, 20% of the people have tested positive for COVID. And they've been shut down for how long?
Probably since the beginning of the pandemic.
Well, it's been a long time. So, I don't know. Just doesn't make sense, does it?
When you look at our, and I don't have, I think our population's around 25%, and we've had, in Todd County, 2,258. That doesn't equate to a lot in our total population, so,
Not even a quarter.
no.
Do we have any insight on what the governor is gonna say tomorrow?
We have a local public health meeting with MDH today. I'm hoping we'll get a lead, but we haven't been given any leads any more than anybody else lately in the last, I would say, 6 months.
Now we find out an hour before his press conference.
Steve gets a little bit early.
Yeah, he does.
Yes, yesterday in the meeting, they said he's extremely tight-lipped, wasn't giving anything, any indication what direction he's gonna head, so.
I think our,
Meeting DPS on Friday, so.
our news, what we hear on WCCO or KSTP is giving more of a lead than our governor's office is at this point, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then, next would be administration, Chris?
Wait for Rick to get situated. So, Madam Chair and Commissioners, I have a board action this morning for discussion and potential action. And the topic is to create program for county grant relief funds. On December 15th, the state of Minnesota dedicated additional funding for businesses and nonprofits who have been affected by COVID. And with that dedication of funds, they dedicated specific funding to the counties. What the state has found out is that the counties have done a really good job in supporting small businesses and nonprofits that have been directly affected by COVID. And because of that great response by the counties, they are giving funding specifically to the counties to disperse in a manner that they see fit. So for Todd County, we received $474,904 for grant relief. And on top of that, we received an additional $11,872 for administering the grant relief programs. So today we are going to just have a discussion about how those funds should be dispersed. And I did have Denise, the county auditor, certify to receive the funds, and I was informed this morning by Jolene the funds were received in Todd County yesterday morning. So now we need to just figure out how do we best spend the funds and assist our businesses and nonprofits. Rick and I had an opportunity, first opportunity to meet yesterday afternoon to just kind of discuss some of the things that we could do for small businesses. And Denise, if you want to bring up just that PDF that we've kind of put together. So just as kind of a guideline and a discussion point for today's topic, Rick and I talked about possibly having an application approved at the next board meeting and have the program start that same day. We would look at a program ending on February 19th, which gives applicants a month to get all of their information in, and then having grants approved by the board on March 2nd. So with this funding, grants have to be approved by March 15th. Our board meeting would actually fall on March 16th, so we felt that March 2nd would be a good time frame. So grants have to be approved, but they can be actually paid out by April 1st, but have to be approved by the 15th. We looked at our first priority being businesses or nonprofits that are directly impacted by the executive orders and that have not already been served for up to $20,000 with 50 employees or less, showing a 10% or greater loss. So these are businesses that were directly impacted and were forced to close or greatly reduce their services. So that's first priority. Our second priority that we looked at would be any other businesses or nonprofits that were indirectly impacted by the executive orders. So those businesses that primarily derive their income from those other businesses that were forced to shut down. And we looked at up to potentially $10,000 for 20 employees or less. And then our third priority we looked at, we still know that the businesses that we have served with our CARES Act dollars, there still is an impact to them as well. So any additional funds remaining, we would look at giving additional funds to those businesses and nonprofits that have already been served. And we looked at the amounts that are listed with 1 to 10 employees with a $5,000 grant, 11 to 20, a $10,000 grant, and then 20 to 50 with a $15,000 grant. Looking at what some of the other counties have done, we did want to set some parameters on what businesses or nonprofits might not be eligible for this. So we looked at those that derive income from gambling or adult entertainment. Those would not be eligible. Chains or multi-chains would not be eligible. And then you can see listed there real estate related services, property management, etc. So funds would be issued on a first-come, first-served basis and based on priority until the funds are spent. Eligible business expenses provided at the time of application. Just because we have to work through this in a pretty expedited way, we'd want to make sure everything is received up front. And then we also want documentation on how the business or nonprofit was specifically affected by COVID. Again, this is a guideline. The money, we're trying to create a program pretty quickly on here. We're trying to give some guidance to you as commissioners, but again, if there is a different way to disperse this, we'd like to have that discussion.
Discussion?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
So what I'm looking at in my district is a lot of the restaurants and bars that have been closed, that have really been targeted. I'm gonna say targeted. While the Walmarts, Menards and all them are wide open and you're shoulder to shoulder. The other thing that has been greatly impacted is the pull tabs. You know, I look at the Osakas VFW. They do a lot of work within the Osakas area with their pull tab money and with the veterans and the substantial amount of money they've lost just through the pull tabs. Yeah. So, and it's not even just the VF. You look at the Hockey Association that has pull tabs in the bar restaurants because that's where people have a tendency to put them. So, them groups right there should be our number one focus right now. Because every time the governor shuts us down, he's targeting the dining industry, and why, I have no idea. Because there's no scientific evidence that going to a restaurant creates COVID, but yet you can go to Menards, Walmart, Fleet Farm, Sam's Club, I mean, and you're shoulder to shoulder, so I'll leave it at that.
Okay. I would like to have some more discussion on this too, because yesterday talking with a banker, there's some of the SBA loans that the bar restaurants have received that all of a sudden they're getting charged for, and they're having to make the loan payments. So I think that's got to be revisited too. So there could be a little bit of a nook coming in there, and I don't know if they're going to take care of it or what's going to happen, but it's affecting some of them
Okay.
drastically.
And Madam Chair, one more follow-up
Yes.
on that is, are they gonna have to pay taxes?
Yes.
Income tax on that?
Madam Chair, this is taxable income.
Yes.
So they will.
Yeah.
They will. It's taxable income.
So, Chris, who is actually on this committee right now?
So what we did with our round of CARES Act funding that we received, this went through the Todd County Development
Rick, yeah.
Committee.
Right.
And we talked about how we would set up the program. It came before the board for approval. The board approved that the committee who would actually approve or recommend the applications, it was two members of the.
Melissa Rademacher, Kevin Overhess.
Kevin
over
Hess,
at Eagle
and
Bend.
Rick and myself.
Okay.
We were the committee that made the recommendation to the board.
Board.
Yep.
And that's fine. I would like to have more discussion on your priorities though, and can we do this if we approve it, or if we approve it, is it set as it's written right here?
This, Madam Chair, this is just a guideline, and it's kind of our first introduction, so I wanted to be able to move quickly if the board chose to do that, but there's nothing that says we have to move on this. We can bring it back to the 19th board meeting for final approval and discuss more of the guidelines.
Will that hold up the process? I mean, can we just have
Bulk of applications.
suggestions to you? Or, look at different areas like Commissioner Newman had said also?
Yep, we can do that, and actually coming back to that January 19th board meeting, we can kick it off that same day. We can have an application prepared, get it posted, get the press release out, and give us an entire month to receive those applications. It also gives us additional time if we wanted to extend that deadline for another week or two for anybody who hasn't had an opportunity. I mean, saying that applications are due by the 19th and will be approved at the March 2nd board meeting, we could extend that a little bit longer because the deadline is to have grants approved by March 15th.
Okay. I don't want to hold the process up, and yet I think there's areas that need to be discussed a little bit more to make sure that we're covering everybody.
Sure, and Madam Chairman, yesterday was our very first opportunity to just sit down and have those discussions. So I do want to get this out to the businesses as soon as possible, but I do want to do it in a smart way as well.
Yes, I think our, as far as the philosophy on the first priority, that we're trying to look at people, and there aren't that many of them that fell through the cracks on the first
Right.
one. Help them, get them the money. The same thing with priority 2, but
Right.
I really think the priority 3, there's going to be a lot of people that receive money on after that in 1099 or for the
Board,
2099.
what's your wishes?
Madam Chair, if I may, you said now there is a deadline, right, that we have
Yes,
to do
there
this
is.
by?
The board has to have grants approved by the 15th of March. Payment has to be made by the 1st of April.
Okay, now, what bothers me the most is this is taxable income,
Yes.
so, which previously was not.
Madam Chair, it was,
Yes.
That all
always
was
been.
taxable?
yes,
Yes.
every bit of it.
And the businesses are well aware of that?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's a little bit discouraging, because I thought maybe it was tax-free. Is it a small one with $5,000, by the time they get done with taxes,
Mhm.
is not gonna be a very big impact to them? I mean, every little bit helps, but if you look 10 employees, I'd probably pay that, if I was a business owner, I'd probably pay that out in a month. So, I think, now, the other question I had, do cities receive funding?
No,
Just the county?
just the counties received it.
It throws another wrench in it, and so, we just don't have a lot of money here to deal with. I just think $5,000 is, I mean, it surely helps every little bit, but, man, if I got 10 employees, $5,000 ain't gonna go far for me.
So, Madam Chair, if I may, Commissioner
Yes.
Kircher, the purpose with that third priority, when we look at the third priority, these are businesses and nonprofits that did receive funding through our CARES Act dollars. So they did already receive, some of them received first round of 5,000, second round of 10,000, and then the additional 10,000 that was distributed at the very end for those who were directly affected by the order.
And that, but we've since had another full month or month and a half of shutdown since we issued that other money. So now the employers are in the same predicament of, where'd my employees go? Now I gotta find employees that went on unemployment, stay on unemployment. Now I gotta start all over, and it costs them to advertise. It'll cost them a lot of money. $5,000 isn't gonna go far. I mean, I'm sorry,
And I think the other thing is real noteworthy is not the number of days maybe, as the timing of when those days were.
During
All the
Christmas.
restaurants missed
Holidays.
all of their Christmas parties,
yeah.
huge. Your New Year's Eve, huge. I mean, it was during the
Prime income.
prime income, exactly, yes.
Yeah, my grandson said that. He owns a bar, and he said we've lost all that income from Christmas, and New Year's Eve is the big party. We lost all that income, and that's,
Yeah.
he's, $5,000 is nothing,
Right.
so.
And Madam Chair, and then you
Yes.
can look at it, it's the first of the year, liquor licenses are due.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
gotta
all
pay
the
for that.
license came
You gotta
due.
pay for all your insurance.
Yes,
I mean, you start adding that up, and Commissioner Kircher's right, that $5,000 is really nothing, because if they got a mortgage payment on their facility, it just gets ate up so fast that it's just gone. And then you order food, that food bill You know, a lot of them probably ordered food before the shutdown, when you're sitting on all this
Well, they
food.
have to throw it away. They're-
Yep.
they're throwing it
Yeah.
away.
So, Madam Chair, maybe in an effort to bring back something very complete at that January 19th meeting, would it be appropriate for Rick and myself to work with Commissioner Kircher and Commissioner Kneisel, who sit on the Economic Development Committee, to just kind of bring more ideas together to bring that forward on the 19th?
I'm very much in favor of you guys getting together and exploring or really diving in. I don't want to delay putting the money out, though.
Right.
Right.
That's what my concern is also, you know.
Well, we have an Economic Development Board meeting next Monday, right?
Yes,
So maybe we could discuss
Discuss
that
it
at
then.
length, and we're doing Zoom, I'm assuming,
yes.
which is a little more difficult, but it's only,
And I'm always open,
yeah.
if after Monday's meeting, if you want to have a special meeting to approve this, to move it on, I'm open to that also.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I would also have you guys figure out what they're gonna pay for taxes if they get 5,000, or if they get 10,000, or if they get 15. What's that?
A quarter of it at least.
Yeah.
Right. It's
It
your regular
depends upon
taxable.
what expenses
yeah.
they can take out. And during the winter months, you got your heat, you know. During the summer months, you didn't see any of that. Where now during the winter months, if they're keeping the place warm at all, or doing, I mean, if you turn on a fryer, if you serve 10 meals or you serve 50 meals, it's gonna cost you the same.
And I do believe, I mean, on our previous applications, we did utilities, all utilities,
Yeah,
and then also payroll. That didn't count for PPP.
yeah.
And then also rent mortgage payments for the business.
I know the bars, if they open a tap beer thing, keg, they have to throw that away because it's gone stale. So if they open 3, 4 kegs, they have to throw it out, give it back, turn it back because it's stale. So they've lost that money. The other question I have is, as you know, Chris, you and I have had conversations from a bar owner, restaurant owner, and the statement has been made that Stearns County rebated the bar owners or food restaurants, bars, whatever, half their license back. Is that something we could consider? Because licensings come due in April, right?
Ours are
No,
for liquor license.
For liquor.
Yep. So,
Food is what?
food was already, they had to be in the 15th of December.
Okay. I don't know if
So-
the board is interested, but I surely am in helping them and their
The
license.
hard thing with that would be you get your liquor license from the cities. The county takes care of anything that's not within the city limits, correct? Yeah, so you got different areas that we're getting our liquor license from.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know, Stearns did it. I don't know if they just did the county
So-
bars and restaurants or.
Madam Chair, I believe what Stearns County did in having discussions with the administrator there, it was the county licenses, and they reduced the fees.
I mean, we can only do what we can do, but at least every little bit helps,
Right.
so.
So I have reached out to our administrator and coordinator group just to see if other counties are doing that and how they're doing that. I reached out to them this morning.
Well, I would think if we set the example, maybe the cities would follow in helping their bars and restaurants. But I just think our responsibility is to the county businesses in priority, and so we should be helping them in any way we can, so.
And we can bring that topic forward as well at that January 19th meeting, because in conversations with Jolene, she said that information will start going out in early February on those licenses.
Okay, good. Just something for us to consider, guys, so.
Okay.
So this was just a discussion item. It does
So,
not need any action
Okay, so
other
we'll just
than,
kind of bring it back on the next meeting.
yep, and
Unless
hopefully
you
have
need to
approval.
do a special meeting to get it moving forward faster.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
Maybe
you.
Chris could attend our board meeting next Monday too, so. we can
I will do that.
Yeah, we'll be on the Zoom.
okay.
Thank you.
Gives the information.
Standing reports,
Nothing to report, Madam Chair.
commissioners? If not, we will recess until, and I don't have the date in front of me,
19th.
January 19th.
Rick.
Thanks.